after the debt collector, which was the hired attorney, or their hired gun, as they'd call it, to...
Amen, brother.
So he can then be nailed for the $900,000+.
When did the judgment
There's no judgment yet.
Okay.
They had I had a default judgment 2 Augusts back. I was out of country. And I'm still in my home.
But why are you in your home, Phil? Can I get a little credit here for helping you with...
without question. I wouldn't be on this call if it wasn't for JT. If Jesse and his organization and his associates and also his friends in those other states that he talked about had never put me in contact with Jess, then I certainly wouldn't be on this call at this time or in my home. And this is my home, and I intend to keep it.
Amen,
but
brother.
I'm also willing to share the money that is returned back out of this process back to Jesse's organization or an organization that can assist other people as well. So from what I'm understanding, I'm able to keep my home, remain in my home, and be able then to go after the hired gun or the attorney or the debt collector, because that's what it tended to be, and go ahead and collect.
And the servicer also. Phil, never forget that the servicer or the alleged bank.
Yeah, the servicer. We'll go with you. Yes.
Yeah. Has no right to foreclose. And I found something today that I gave to Larry to read. I don't know if you read it, Larry, on TILA. Just a little quick, juicy little part of TILA. Obviously, the Helping Families Save Their Homes Act is one that's very juicy. But there's another little section of TILA there that a lot of people have, well, I've never even seen an attorney discuss it. It was through my reading today that once again, my diligence that I went through. But a servicer cannot foreclose. Okay? And this was April of 2010 Federal Reserve interim final rule under Reg Z.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, and it basically it's regarding transfer notices, and at the end of the day, the notice must be given obviously within 30 days of the transfer of the new owner acquiring a loan. The acquisition date deemed to be the date that the acquisition is recognized in the new owner's books and records. And it goes on to discuss that basically a servicer has no beneficial interest in a loan. The servicer has no ownership interest in a loan, so a servicer cannot foreclose on that loan, period.
Well, you made another key point, and I read through it too, and I think there's some very interesting law here. But it states basically that the owner of the loan or the note or whatever has to notify you of its ownership.
Yes, that's right. Well, that's under the contract. That's under which I don't like to call a mortgage contract because it's not. The mortgage, it's under the mortgage, Section 20. It's under your note, and it's under, obviously, RESPA, and it's under TILA. So you've got them coming and going, Phil. It doesn't matter.
So it never places it under securities, though, right?
Yeah, and especially if it's securitized, then they have real issues because even the trust, for instance, the trustee is suing on behalf of the trust owners, correct? Well, under your pooling and servicing agreements, they have no knowledge of the underlying facts of anything. As a matter of fact, they're forbidden from knowing this information, who the owners are, what their interests are, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So they come into these courtrooms as, Bank of America or Deutsche Bank or any one of them as trustee for certificate number, whatever. Well, you can't do that. You can't do that. It's very simple, and you can kill them really, really quick, and you can hit them under the FDCPA immediately under the acts. You kill these people dead in their tracks.
So
for the simple fact.
So you're saying I'll be able to keep my home, go after the gunslinger, attorney, debt collector?
I can never guarantee anybody you can keep your home.
I understand
because,
that.
Like I said, rogue judges. You've been there,
Absolutely.
done that.
Yes.
Okay. You can. Nobody can look into the future, but I can sure tell you that you're going to come in and get them, and they're going to be really, really under a pickle when you start asking for documentation that they can't provide in that federal court, and they better provide it because the federal court ain't going to tolerate that nonsense.
Just the servicer also then can be tagged for the same amount?
Absolutely.
Okay,
and the Supreme Court says now you can get actual monetary or not only the statutory damage, but punitive damage too.
Right, and then the purchaser of that original mortgage, I believe they're somewhere in Japan right about now, so that would be all wet paperwork.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of issues there, Phil. Yeah, there's a lot of issues there.
Right.
You haven't tapped. Obviously, together we stopped your foreclosure for 2 years, but the reality is that you haven't tapped the suit going after these idiots.
Correct, absolutely, which I want to work with you guys. I definitely want to work with you guys on that, and I thank you very much for taking my call and assisting all the people that you gentlemen do.
Thanks.
God bless you. One more thing, and this is important for everybody to keep in mind, is the statute of limitations. For Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, it is 1 year. So any action that they've taken within the last year to attempt to collect on an alleged debt would be covered, but nothing beyond that. Now, you may have state laws. For instance, in Florida, you've got something similar to FDCPA, which goes back 2 years. But even if it's something old, and this is something that we're working on right now, is a process for vacating void judgments. And that's a lot trickier. And again, as Jesse said, there's never any guarantees, but this is something that we're really focused hard on, and we want to provide the best information we can about that process to our members.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
I think I'm watching that monthly chopping block at the sheriff's sale, so I'm constantly looking to see. I'm off for another month. I'm not on it, so if so, I'll have to take it from there. But again, I appreciate all the efforts of your organization and all you gentlemen out there and the ladies that are pushing hard for this. Thanks again for your intel, guys.
Yeah, man. We just got to help people quit losing their homes. And
we also, as the consumer, need to be a little more astute on what it is we're doing ourselves.
Well, if I tell you of all things today, guys, and I don't know, once again, how many people are on this call, and I don't want to bore anybody to death, but I'll tell you something that's very interesting. Today in my office, and John was there early because he had to leave today. He had some electrician or something come to his house. I had a gentleman from Taiwan who came here as an exchange student. He's a law student. Okay, he sat with me. He's actually one of my clients' brother. She's a doctor. He's an attorney. He's going for his bar license over in New York here soon. And I asked him a simple question. I says, throughout your studies, how many times did they reference you back to Black's Law Dictionary? Simple question. That was my first question. And he looked at me and said, what is Black's Law Dictionary? Okay, here's the University of Florida law student, 7 years. And I told it's $1,060 per credit hour. And he had no idea of what Black's Law Dictionary was.
Especially Volume 6.
Okay, so once again, if you just understand that you can outwit these guys in 5 minutes, literally. He told me after 1 hour with me, he said, Jesse, I've learned more literally in an hour than I have in the last 3 years at law school. And it's not no exaggeration. He said, I can't believe it. It's ridiculous what they don't show us. And he says in Taiwan, it's the opposite. In Taiwan, there's very few lawyers, and they promote the people to educate themselves on the law. It's publicly promoted. When you go to court, they don't want you to bring an attorney. They want you to go represent yourself. They want you to be up on and savvy on the law. And it's publicly promoted. He says, attorneys make no money in my country. That's why I'm here. Because here, Americans they don't want to take the responsibility. They just pass it on to somebody else. Let them do it. And that's the way it works. He's no dummy. But I couldn't believe what he had told me today. It blew me away what he had told me today in our conversation, which was a little over an hour. So, but anyway, go ahead. Next question. We got to get rolling.
Hello?
Okay. I'm going to take a chance. It's identified as Karen out of Georgia, I believe it is. Of course, it could be.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
How you doing, Karen?
Speakerphone, Karen.
Yeah, I'm good. You guys okay tonight?
Yes, ma'am. No complaints.
I just wanted to run through my scenario again. I started receiving default letters from Chase last year, August, in reference to the mortgage that was being paid not being applied to the account. Now, the backstory or sidebar to this is that I'm disabled, and my mother, she's been helping me for the last 7 or 8 years with this mortgage, and she pays it faithfully on the 1st or the 15th every month. And so I knew it was the payments had been made. When I got this situation came to my attention, what I did, I went down to the bank, and first let me stop here and say that those people at the bank, they are just people sitting there working. They have no idea about your mortgage or what's going on, and the only thing that they can do is make a 1-800 customer service phone call like what you can do, except for give their ID number. I asked them what the story was. Every time we called customer service, we got 6 different scenarios. But the bottom line of what they did was they projected my escrow account. I'm disabled, as I stated. My escrow, my property taxes have not changed in the last 5 years. And so instead of taking one property tax payment, they paid one